everybody? Welcome to Point Fighter Live. And today we have a special show. I got Alex Digman, Jeff Doss, and myself. We're going to have sport karate fantasy uh, teams, right? Or versus mode right here. How you guys doing today? Everything good?
Everything's good. This is gonna be fun
Great.
because we've always talked about doing this type of thing, right? How you doing, Jeff?
Yeah. Oh, I'm doing great, man. This is awesome. Yeah, this is going to be fun. We've talked about doing this a little bit on our show, and
Yeah.
I think we've always talked about this on Point Fighter as well. Trying to, Alex has done a great job at putting out the polls and stuff, and
Yeah.
so now we get to kind of debate it and say what we think, because you know all the
Well,
years
Yeah,
that
and
we've
man.
what's good
seen these
about it,
guys. So
Jeff, is it keeps the blood pumping.
yeah,
Right
especially
now,
right now.
we don't got any tournaments. Think of the tournaments that we've missed just so far. Hasn't been a whole bunch, but it feels like it's been dozens. Not just
Oh yeah,
because we can't compete, because so many people can't even train. We're not active. Oh man. So keeping
yeah,
these things going. Plus, this is so great because this is stuff that we've talked about for years.
right.
Some of these guys talked about for years. Some of them, it just became a thing. Like, all right, now you're starting to be somebody. I wonder what it would look like if you fought this person in the
This
front.
guy, yeah, yeah. And we talked about some of this over the past couple of weeks as we were on our show, as we were
Yeah.
talking about the year 2000 and stuff. And so, yeah, man, it's pretty cool. Thanks for having us on, Alex.
No, for sure. Hey, before we continue,
Sure.
everybody out there, thanks for joining us. We're doing a sport karate fantasy show. So if you guys have, if you have your own opinions, go ahead and comment as well and put your input. We would love to have it as well. Hey, and you guys have your own show as well. So let us know a little bit about that.
Well, the Inside Scoop is part of the Martial Arts Inner Network. The Martial Arts Inner Network is started by Travis Plowden.
Travis,
And
yep.
his show is called the CTE that he does with Chris Walker. So it's CTE. It's the Chris and Travis experience.
Yeah.
So that's one show. And then we have the Inside Scoop with Alex and Jeff. And then we also have Raw with Lump and Mimi. That's with Willie Hicks and Regina Thompson. And the newest show is Kicks, Flips, and
Fist, I think. Something like that. Yeah.
it's new. I think they've only had like one or two shows, right?
Right. Yeah.
I listen to one of them. And it's
Who's
with
the host for that one?
Eugene Plowden and Mike Gibbs.
Wow.
Eugene is Travis's brother.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of cool insight. His
Yeah.
takes are really fun. So listen to those ones. So if you're looking for different pods, I mean, the Martial Arts Inner Network's got a great amount of pods, but that's not the only thing that we've done. We've also do different things like Jeff and I have done some product reviews.
Yes.
Putting out later. When we were at the AK Warrior Cup this year, Travis and I went around and we talked to some of the people and we asked them a bunch of questions, put them on video, and we're going to be releasing those. Those are going to be cool. And I'm not going to say what it is yet because I don't want to spoil it, but what I asked is what are your top 5 of this? And I asked a number of different things, and I went around to a lot of different fighters and a lot of different, even forms competitors, a lot of different ones. So they were super cool. I haven't even told Jeff what the topics were yet.
No.
I'm waiting for it to drop. It's that cool.
That's awesome.
So that part's fun. But speaking of like videos and online, there's a lot of stuff. Like online is pretty much how martial arts exists right now.
That's right.
So Alex, have you done any like classes online or lessons online?
Yeah, for sure. I started my Zoom classes this week and it was great. Like it was a success, like about, not all my students jumped in on it, but about half. So
Oh,
that's
awesome.
great. At
That's
least
great.
half is good and everybody's enjoying it and it's like a different energy, right? I don't know about you
Yeah.
guys, but the parents are there. They're helping out as well. There's some of them are doing them. And I think that it's great. I think, and one of the cool things about it is that this could be the way of the future where
Yeah.
we got add into our schools, right? With the Zoom
Yep.
and the Skype and all that stuff that online courses, right? I know you've been doing it too, Jeff, right?
Yeah, yeah, and I talked a little bit about it on our show the other week too. Is this is like us just perfecting another stream, you know what I mean? Another level, like an upgrade of our school, and this is that time to do that. I started with, trying to do a little bit of everything. And so I got some that, only did it like watch the Facebook group, live, while I was also doing Zoom at the same time, though I was also recording it to put it on YouTube, trying to do too much. And now I'm just learning how to, make it a little bit more simple and put everybody through one thing. But that's why these past couple weeks just been a learning process and trying to get everybody involved. So for me, the coolest part is seeing the little dragons, like the 3 to 5 year olds. They've been more involved than anyone, and I think most people think that they're going to be the ones that aren't because they need more guidance and stuff. No, they are pumped up. They're ready to do it. They like it. They've sent me more videos than anybody as far as saying, "Hey, this is us doing practicing at home with your video and stuff." So it's been cool.
Yeah,
Well,
for sure.
so you were saying that. Remember when I was telling you that we go for my daughter's dance class? My daughter's 3.
Yeah.
My daughter's dance class, they sent out here's the instructions on the daddy and me dance. We did it. Here I am. Okay. We clap, and then we clap down low. All right, here we go. That's what we were doing. So yeah,
That's awesome.
Man,
don't miss.
hey, so tonight's show, the whole purpose of it is to get our minds away from that. So
Yes.
thanks to everybody for joining us. Alex, thanks for joining us. Jeff,
Yes,
thanks for
sir.
joining us. And there's no fighting going on right now or tournaments. So the only thing we could do is a fantasy matchups, right? And that's
Right.
always been a cool thing. And we have about 10 today. So I'm really excited about this. And are you guys ready for the first one?
Let's do
Yes, let's go.
All right, let's go. The first one is Impex versus Elite
Oh, all
slash,
right.
I guess slash CJB, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so that team started, so Claire and Nikki came out together in 2000, and Nikki retired, I think maybe April 2001. So yeah, about a year and a half together as a team, and they were the main
Oh,
core
wait.
of the team.
it. What
So
happened?
yeah.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Oh, he's
Hold
there.
Yeah.
on, wait. My
He's
bad.
there.
Hold on, wait.
Go ahead, Alex.
Hold on a second. I think I
Dinger.
did something.
Oh, I
Let's
can't hear him.
see.
Well, while we're waiting, I'll kind of pick up where Jeff left off.
Yeah.
So the team of Claire and Nikki was a really good one because Nikki has been consistent every time that she's competed. She's been dominant. Claire,
Yeah.
at that time, when she was just starting out, she started out, she was always really good, but she just progressively got better.
Yeah.
I think she probably peaked somewhere around 2006 or 7, not because she fell off. I think she just took time away, right? Now, this is interesting with Morgan and Gina. I think the interesting one is who matches up with who. So I've scratched my head a bunch on this. I'm not exactly sure where to do this. I think the tricky one would be is, all right, if Nikki and Morgan are with each other, man, I don't know. That one would, I think,
So Nikki and Morgan are together, you're saying?
if they've matched up against each other and it was Claire and Gina, I think that gives Impex the better chance. I think if Nikki was on Gina, I think it would be a little bit too much of a mismatch in Nikki's favor. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
But however, if you flipped it, Jeff, you back with me?
Close.
I think he's back. You're back?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm back.
Okay, well, we're just talking about the matchups. I was just talking about where I saw the advantages and the disadvantages would be with Impacts against or CJB. So, what do you think, man?
I love Gina Thornton, but I don't see either matchup being good for her on that. And I think that either one will get a good size lead. And I also think that both, like Claire and Morgan, would be closer, but I think Nikki is a lot stronger than people want to give her credit for. Just just the strength she has, and Morgan is as well. But I just think that we're talking about someone that we've seen lose maybe 3 times ever. You know what I mean? From the late 80s to
And the thing,
early 2000s.
we've seen her win in a lot of different ways. It wasn't just kicking, right?
No, 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 no.
She was probably the best at it, right?
Right.
And we've seen her fight against a lot of different types of fighters, right?
Yeah.
If you were a left side fighter who's just got a solid right hand punch, we've seen her beat that. All right, we've seen her beat the kicker. We've seen her beat the person who's kind of shifty and is all over the place. We've seen her beat every type of fighter. We've seen her adjust different types of ways. Right.
Right. Right.
So the part that you missed that I said is I feel like what gives Impex the best chance is if it was Gina on Claire. That would give Impex the best chance.
Yeah, probably so. Yeah. Yeah, I would think so. And I know all the, Morgan's probably the one I know the least, as I was on the team with Claire and Nikki, and I trained with Gina. So, man, I just determined it's crazy, but I think that
It wouldn't surprise me if if Gina had a check punch field day on Claire.
oh yeah, no, it could happen. It could happen. I look at though, like, both of those fighters are ones that beat Regina pretty good, and Regina has, now I haven't seen Regina Morgan, but Regina and Gina is a pretty tight matchup.
Yeah.
Now again, that doesn't really mean anything, but height has a lot to do with it. So I'm going to go with Elite. I talked to Coach Conroy today about it as well. Of course, he's a little biased. He was like, they would both 10-point this person. They would both beat this person by this much.
But it wouldn't 10-point them. But I think they. I
Yeah.
agree with you. I give the advantage there. But here's the thing, though. I mean, I'm gonna agree with you. I'm gonna say, yep, I give the advantage to Elite. But man, how many times have we really seen Morgan just get?
That's true.
I can't.
No.
I can really only think of like Chelsea, but that was Morgan's since gotten better since then.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, if you think about it, Morgan and Nikki Carson Lee are similar because they don't really have. They've been pretty dominant. So that matchup right there, you never know. So Gina versus Claire will be a key matchup. But Claire, you remember, she's very underrated. She beat a lot of the old school people, and even I remember her fighting at and beating, I think, Morgan and Chelsea before she retired, right? So
yeah, she did. She beat Chelsea, I think, twice. I think she beat Morgan as well. So yeah.
So
yeah.
Yeah.
So you both give the edge to Elite?
Yeah.
How about if Terry Kramer is judging, center referee, which he's usually the center, or David Bossinet, right? There's a center of today's game. Would they still win?
That wouldn't be fair if David was the center, okay?
Yeah, I know. Yeah. That's true. He wouldn't be able to, right?
No. Especially with 2-point body kicks, I think you give the advantage to Elite.
Yeah, I think they just have too much firepower there. But it's crazy how now in the women's division, like now that's an option, right? Like there's more teams than ever.
Yeah.
So it would have been great to see that back then.
Yeah.
Back then it was 3 women, and
so
back then 2000. So it was we had Dottie as our third, or even Stephanie Flowers as our third. So
man, that team can hang with anybody.
Yeah.
Like you think, like listen to that, Alex. You had Nikki, Claire, and Dottie.
Yeah.
That's the top 3 fighters in that whole year.
Right.
Hey, but you know what? That's the sport has evolved to like more speed and more blitzing and stuff. But for the women, I think that even like Gina Morgan, they still kick like kind of like back then, right? It's still similar.
Gina started really as a kicker. She's still an
Yeah.
amazing kicker, but she's evolved her game to be a great blitzer as well. So
Yeah. Hey, so talking about evolving and like a new game and stuff, we got the next one, Tony
yeah,
Young versus Bailey Murphy. Bailey is really young,
yeah,
so he still hasn't had his whole career, set where you could kind of like say, okay, this is the man right now, but he's in his short time, he's done so much.
yeah. This is a tough one to me, honestly. This is one of the hardest ones, I think, because of how much I always looked up to Tony, and just how he always pulled it off, man. I mean, it didn't have to be pretty, like,
All right.
and
Well,
yeah,
let's talk about that then, Jeff. So I think what you were able to do a lot more in the early and mid '90s, right? And even in the '80s. But let's just talk about that. Well, Tony's peak was probably like the early '90s and mid '90s, right?
yeah, I'd say early,
Yeah, 80s, late 80s
late '80s, early '90s. Yeah,
until like, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay,
I
let's
think
talk.
he was the all-around champion of NASCAR in '91, '92, something like that. He won the most
Let's
Grams and
talk
stuff.
about the style of fighting at that time. The style of fighting at that time, um, it was very quick, quick bursts from here to there. But then you would have here to there, back here. It would be irky jerky at times. All right, would you agree?
Yeah, Alex, you talk
Well,
about this as
well,
well.
the thing is, Tony, I actually fought Tony in my rookie year, 1997, and I think he fought one more year, but he was kind of like ahead of the times because he had that movement,
Hmm.
that people have kind of today, and he had those, he was kind of like somebody that would come at you from angles, and he wouldn't be looking at you. He'll be fighting you like this. He'll throw so many people off, and I think that even today, that style would throw people off. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? So
yeah, he definitely was ahead of his time because there really wasn't anyone else that fought like that. I mean, I'm trying to remember the top people. People kicked more. There was good movement and some angles, but not like what he did that moved that really used the whole ring. I mean, he used the whole ring when he fought. So,
What here? I remember watching a fight with him. A 2-minute match in regulation was 0-0.
yeah,
And he won it 1-0 in overtime, right? I'm thinking, man, you went two full. How do you go 2 minutes? And not only did you you didn't score, but you kept them from scoring too. And so he had the ability to do that. See, this is the difference though. The way the fighting is now, I don't know if that's possible. And here's what I mean by that. Okay,
hmm
so
I know what you're
I,
going to.
Jeff and I love to talk about is the NBA. All right, and when I say that, I mean I love to talk about the NBA, and Jeff hates it. But Alex, you'll know this. You can't play well, now nobody can play basketball, but whatever, right? But you can't play basketball the way you did in the late 80s and the early 90s the way you would today. You wouldn't even be able to play. Not just because they wouldn't call it that way. Really, I think guys are just too skilled. Everybody can handle the ball. Everybody can move. So where you're used to, oh, I've got tough defense, while you might have that, they'll leave you in the dust. All right? So, but that's not necessarily the case for this one. I think this one is the way that they call it. We've all seen it where you see someone dive and blitz and it hits them in the arm and in the hip and everybody calls it.
Yeah,
I've
yeah,
seen Tony bring his rear hand up to block a kick and they called it a block. I don't think that's possible. I don't think you go like this, get hit, have everything move, and then not call that. You see what I'm saying?
yeah,
that's
that's
very
true.
true. Yeah,
Yeah, but look, Tony, like the champions of the past, they would still be champions today. They
Oh,
would adapt to that,
yeah,
So I think that, man, this is a tough one for me. For me, I'm gonna say who I would pick here. Okay,
okay,
go for
my
it.
pick will be Bailey
okay,
because because he's a hybrid.
Yeah.
This guy is kind of somebody that you haven't really seen before. He has like the speed. He could kick. He could blitz, and he always has you like off balance. And it's kind of like somebody that we haven't really seen before, right? And he's so young, and he's already won so much that, man, I think that, head to head with Tony, if it was one match, he would win it. Out of 10, maybe
I think
50-50. You never know. But one match, I say Bailey wins it. And this coming from me, old school,
Yeah.
that I usually lean towards that.
Yeah.
And Tony is like one of my, idols and everything.
Yeah.
You never know though, but I think that Bailey style is like something like a hybrid, and I pick Bailey. Who do you guys pick?
Yeah,
Go
I'll
ahead.
say so one of the things I was going to say that I was like, well, no, because again, when we're comparing these 90s fighters, they were fighting first to five if they were a predominantly NASCA fighter. But again, like we said with Tony, he didn't really have to get to five. You know what I mean? Sometimes he did, but he knew how to draw the fight out to make it his own. I think he's one of the smartest fighters we've ever seen, and I think he would find a way to confuse Bailey for one fight. Now, with multiples, I think Bailey would end up learning over time and maybe win 3 out of the 5. So one fight, I'm going to go with Tony because of just his smarts and his movement and how he would learn a way to frustrate Bailey. Kind of like, like watching some of Bailey's fights at Irish Open. He was getting frustrated with some of the ways that the different style of fighting. I think the same thing would happen. So
I actually agree a lot with what you were saying. So when I was looking at this, kind of what I was prefacing, like, okay, how are we judging this? How is it going to go? Are we going to pretend like Bailey's in 1993? Are we going to pretend like Tony's in 2019, 2020? What are we going to do? So I had to go, all right, let's put them both in their prime. Let's put them both, because we got to figure out how we're going to officiate this thing. Let's put them both in the classroom. All right? Everybody's around. There's not a tournament, we're in the classroom, right?
that's right.
And we're doing it. And you gotta own up on who scored or not. So the way I do this, this is the way I do it. I don't know if everybody else does this. This is the way I do it. The way we train, if you go to hit somebody, but you don't hit them, hits them on the arm, and they give you the point, you gotta say, I didn't get them. And the reason why is because points are supposed to be hard to get. So if you were given a point, no, you gotta work harder for that. So with that kind of mentality, if these guys did that, I think Tony wins, but I think the rest of the night,
Yeah. Bailey adapts. Yeah.
I think Bailey gets 2 more.
Right.
So just one match.
One match, I think Tony gets it.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Okay, so there we go. So you guys kind of got one match. Tony, I got Bailey. Let's go on to the next one. All right. Ooh,
oh God.
This was number 1 on the poll that I put out. Raymond Daniels and Nasty Anderson. Both of them are considered the GOATs, right?
Right. The 2 GOATs.
All right, I'm gonna let you guys go first.
Okay, I'll go first. I'll
Yeah.
go first to get out of the way. I think Nasty was awesome. And, I think he went like on a winning streak for like a year or 2, right? Where he didn't lose, I think.
Yeah.
But, man, Raymond Daniels is just, his longevity. I think that's what I give him, the nod, and his full contact career as well. I just think that he's just the greatest of all time. So I say Raymond wins.
Yeah.
How about you guys?
Yeah. So I think both are very similar. Like, all right, if you look at their styles in certain ways, you wouldn't say that they're similar, but they both manipulated the fight and mentally broke down their opponents, but in different ways, right? And I think that's what made them both the best. They won the fight by the time they bowed into the ring. And that's what was really cool with both of them, and that's why both of them were great. People always forget that, both are from the West Coast, from Cali. But Raymond took the blitz that Nasty really kind of perfected and took it to a whole new level. But he also he evolved into one of the most unpredictable kickers, there was, and knew how to set people up with stuff. And people forget that. So again, yeah, I agree with you what you said. The longevity, the movement, the flair. Nasty had it a different way. Do I think he would evolve to be up there with him? Yeah, I think they would be competitive, but I think that Raymond is the best
for sure.
Yeah. So Raymond's the greatest point fighter of all time. History of the world. The greatest to walk on two legs and step in a ring. No one on earth has seen a better fighter. All right. Now here's the thing, though. If you took Raymond out, let's say Raymond never existed, we might be having this conversation. We might be saying, "Oh no, it's nasty, it's nasty." So for us to all three of us give the nod to Raymond, that's not knocking him. All right.
No.
But let's just look at this. The thing that both of them have in common is they've had multiple rivals, multiple people who've rivaled them. Yet they've also been the one who's won every single one of them. All right. But we could go down the list of the guys who are like, "Oh, is Nasty going to beat him, or are they going to finally get Nasty?" And Nasty ends up having the winning record on him. All right. Same thing with Ray. All right. Is Jason going to get him?
Yeah.
Is Ross going to get him? Maybe. All right. Is Trevor going to get him? Is Johnny going to get him? Is Mike P going to get him? You can have a laundry list. All right. Raymond's got 20 years of that. Right. Not to mention, there's not a style of fighter that he hasn't beat. But Raymond has been able to take away specifically one style of fighter and basically say, "You're almost never going to beat me." And that is a right leg kicker who leads with that. All right. And I looked at it, and I might have mentioned this once before. If you just took an outside perspective and just watched the sport and just looked at it and go, "Okay, what do I see the most of?" And about the time when he really started getting good, became like the man, it was someone who fought with their right side in front and would lead with their front leg. So if you just took an outsider's perspective and go, "I'm going to focus everything I have on beating that," there you go. And it would fill the rest of them in. And all of a sudden he started to get better. The one thing about our sport is winning is contagious. And he evolved everything. There's nothing really that he can't do really well. Because like you even said, like a deceptively good kicker.
Yeah,
man.
Greatest spin kicker we've ever seen.
Yeah, the best spin kick ever for sure. Yeah. So we all decide we're all picking Raymond on this one.
Yeah, don't get
all right, there we go. All right, so next one.
All right.
So forms Alan Davies and Anthony Atkins. Now both of these guys are high flying. They're very similar, right? Jeff, actually you're the one that picked this one.
Yeah.
And when you told me these names, I was like, man, they're very similar, right?
Right. Yeah, it's cool. It's kind of like Alan is like the next version of him in many ways. I still don't think he's and honestly, you know what I was going to say? I still don't think he's gotten his just due. And really, if you look at Anthony's career, he didn't either. He didn't have the as many overall wins as he probably should or could have. But the impact that he left on the sport is huge, and he's like everyone's favorite that maybe didn't win. There's several that are like that. But and so the height, the jump split kick was just insane. The split kick to the split was one of the best. The axe aerial, and Alan just kind of has elevated that game from there. I think Alan's a little cleaner, but honestly, in the later years, Anthony got a lot cleaner too. So, man, this is a really tough one. I know I suggested
down to being who's the cleanest, right? Because they both had the height and that explosion, the energy. They both got the crowd pumped, right? So I guess it would come down to who had the best technique.
Maybe.
No, I don't think that's what it comes down to.
No. I don't think so either.
If it came down to who has the best technique, it's going to be Alan. All right.
Right.
If it comes down, I'll put it like this: if we're in a division in the eliminations, I think Alan wins. If we're in the finals, I think Anthony wins. All right. Anthony gets the crowd going better Anthony gets the crowd going better than almost anybody I've ever seen. All right. All right. Personal experience. All right. All right. He and I competing against each other. It's 2001. All right. We're competing, Open Forms division. All right. He's the number 1 seed. I'm number 2. All right. I go up. I beat everybody. I've got the highest score now. And I'm feeling it. I'm like, this is my day. I got it. I got him today. He wasn't even watching me compete. He didn't even care. All right. What he did is he talked to a bunch of people who were sitting around ringside, and he said, when I do this, I want you to yell this. When I do this, I want you to yell this. He got the entire tournament involved into that performance.
Right.
Well, everybody was yelling as he's doing his form. How do you beat that?
But what you just answered your own question. You disregard what you just said.
No,
You
no, no.
said on stage.
All right, that's
you
true.
you just said during a division this happened. That's why I disagree. Anthony had more first place wins than he had grand wins.
Well, yeah.
And he was not able to make that same that he has in that immediate crowd. During that, he got the crowd and the competitors hyped. He didn't always have that connection in the grands. You know why? Because he did what I did. We made the form up on the spot, and it was never necessarily consistent. And so I think when it comes to that, that's where Alan would actually, his consistency would beat Anthony. But as far as the overall performer and the getting the audience involved, like as far as that, yeah, I think Anthony is and his unpredictability. You know what his big moves are, but you're not sure how he's going to do it, and that may shock you. But I think consistency-wise, Alan would win. So
I'm going to go with Anthony because for the exact reason you said. You said we never saw him do the same form twice, which
right,
we never
right,
did.
right.
If Anthony was competing today, I think he'd be the best in the world. Right?
Oh yeah, I like that. I like it.
Question. I think it's
Okay. For me, I
Yeah.
will give it to Alan because I seen them both, and they had both of them had that energy. But I think Atkins always was like, maybe he's underrated, but he would always like come up a little short, right? So, but Davies, he would come through, and but he was also young. Like he only competed a few adult divisions, right?
Yeah.
But for me, I would say by watching both of them, who pumped me up the most, Alan. So I give it to Alan.
Cool. Awesome.
All right, so let's go. Next one. All right, another female.
This is an interesting one
here.
Yeah.
Yeah, Chelsea Nicole, right? Which is Chelsea Nash before she got married, and Linda Denley. What do you guys got here? This is a tough one because Linda's considered like the GOAT.
Yeah. So we did a whole like gap. You know what I mean? Because again, we already had Nikki in there, and she was like the best of like the late '80s to the early '90s, and even early 2000s. Chelsea was like the best of that 2000s, that last half of that to the early teens or whatever, right? And
14, 2015, yeah.
Yeah, and then Denley was the late 70s, all the 80s. She even won a bunch as a senior in the 90s. She won, I think, 2 Super Grands overalls in the early 90s as well, and kept winning other stuff. So it's just 2 completely different styles, which I love, which is awesome. Chelsea is tougher than people maybe give her credit for it. Think about it. If you're going to get beat up by Trevor your whole life, I mean, come on, you're probably pretty tough. So I don't think Linda's like hitting her hard is going to affect her as much as people from that old school era would think. But I still think that Linda's like intimidation factor would rattle, kind of similar. I think kind of like what I was talking about with Tony and Bailey. I think one fight that could matter a little bit. Also, one thing is that Chelsea had done in the past is against people she looked up to. That first fight, she didn't do very well. And that happened several times with Regina, with Claire, those types of fighters. And I think she almost would over respect Linda on the first one, and then come out later on. You know, they'd start a crazy rivalry, but I just think Linda's pretty beastly.
You're Linda?
Yeah, I'm picking Linda. I'm,
How
I'm
about you,
going.
Alex?
I'm going opposite of what I really thought. Once I start talking it out, man, it's like, whoa.
I'm going Chelsea. And when I looked, because I've thought about this, right? So if you watch videos, and there's some out there of Linda's fights, if you don't look at Linda and you look at Linda's opponent, you go, okay, I'm just focusing on you. Okay, now you just look at Linda. Just focus on Linda, okay? And you look at what Linda does when she fights. Okay, you got this. Store that away. Now you watch Chelsea's fights, okay? Remember how you watched Linda fight? You watch Chelsea fight. I can't envision a way where Chelsea doesn't spread her, all right? And here's why I say that, all
Wow.
right? Well, how many times would you see Linda do a skip up double kick?
Yeah, you're right. It's true.
Times would that work against Chelsea?
You're right. No,
Or,
yeah.
or would Linda maybe throw like, all right, a back fist reverse punch, back leg round kick? I can't envision that working one time, all right? The spacing, I think, is the big difference maker. It's the space. The amount of space where Linda can fight from versus the amount of space that Chelsea can fight from, all right? Where Linda's able to make techniques and set them up, Chelsea's already scoring. Where Linda's able to make them work, all right? Chelsea's, like, Linda's got to then get to Chelsea. Chelsea's all the way around, okay? And then is making everything work. You watch Chelsea's matches, all right? It's not just here and there, all right? It's not just angles. She uses everything and makes you stop kicking so that she can just hit you, all right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Now, with that being said, I think Linda's smart enough to set stuff up to bring her in to rear hand punches and front leg side kicks.
Yes, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't think she's going to win.
So you give it to Chelsea?
I give it to Chelsea.
Okay, for me, I would say I will give it to Linda just because of her body of work. Like she was just, more longevity. And Chelsea, I think, could have been one of the all-time greats because what she did in a short time. Well, not a short time because she competed as a kid, right?
Yeah.
But she kind of stopped young, right? She kind of retired
Still pretty young, yeah.
pretty young, right? So
Yeah.
I would have liked to see her out there more, especially with Morgan. Like that was a great rivalry, and it kind of was just like, man, as a fan. But I think that Linda's she's so powerful, and I think that it don't matter how fast you are and how much you move, that power is just gonna overcome everything when you're really powerful. So I'll give it to Linda as well.
Yeah.
All right, so let's go on to the next one.
This is fun.
Oh man, yeah, this is fun, guys. I hope you guys are enjoying this, and there's no tournaments going on now, so the only thing we could do for fighting is these head-to-head matches. And the next one is a really good one: Anthony Price and Trevor Nash. This is hard.
This is hard.
Yeah,
this is really hard.
And I'll tell you why this one's the hard. I'm just gonna jump right into it.
Yeah, you do this one. Yeah,
the hardest one because they fight so similar.
Yeah.
And you could if you took Trevor and put him into, I don't know, let's just say late 80s, early 90s, mid 90s, it might be the exact same as Andy. You take him out, you put him in, all right?
Yeah.
2000s, okay, they might be doing the exact same thing. So it's not like you'd have to adjust styles that much, right? Man, and they're both extremely intimidating, right?
Yeah.
And then neither one of them are going to give a hot dang about anybody or anything else. This probably would be the most exciting match to watch. Out of everything that we've talked about, everything that we've listed, this is the one that would send the fireworks more than anything. So this is one where you'd have to be like, nah, we got to see it again.
So who do you pick, though? You got to pick somebody.
You got to do 3 rounds. Right?
Yeah.
I'm going to give it to Anthony Price.
AP.
I'm going to give it to AP. All right? And Trevor's got a leg that that is going to get AP. I think Trevor's going to get up early. And I think Anthony Price is just going to start going to town, all right? It's going to hit him. Maybe it's questionably late, right? Anthony Price is going to start drilling him. And here what's going to happen is Trevor's going to want to drill him right back. You know what Trevor's going to stop doing? He's going to stop kicking.
Yep.
Right? Trevor's going to stop kicking. One time, Anthony's going to drill him like 3 times. Trevor's going to try to go right back. And now Trevor's not kicking, and it gives Anthony a chance. And I think Anthony pulls it out, and I think Anthony wins it.
Wow. Yeah. So,
Aerated the fight.
I mean, it's tough, but honestly, like the way you said it kind of like triggered some things, some memories. And I don't remember seeing Anthony Price like make crazy mistakes or go like risk. And I've seen Trevor do that. Again, I think I shared this before when it was overtime. I think it was Ocean State 2000 overtime in a team fight, and him and Brian Plimple are going. You know, Brian Plimple is going to do a blitz back fist. He does a ridge hand into a split. Yeah, he hits him with it, but not before the back fist. You know, it's like, Trevor, what were you thinking? You know, now as he got older, he got smarter. And you can really see that in his coaching now, just on the way that he teaches kicks and everything. But again, if we're looking at their body work and just their, you know, I don't see Anthony making mistakes like that. And I do see him making them frustrated, and Trevor trying some cartwheel kicks or front flips or something crazy like that. So,
Yeah,
move like that.
man.
Oh my gosh.
AP, how high? Let me ask you guys. Do you guys know how tall they are? Like is one of them taller than the other?
Oh, Anthony's taller.
I think he's taller. Trevor's heavier. I think it's probably always been.
I think Anthony's like
not
6'4".
always, but yeah. 6 what?
I think he's 6'4".
Okay.
Yeah. Hey, look, Anthony would bully people. He'll come out there and hit you and talk smack to you. And Trevor, I remember seeing him when he would get into it with people, he would want to knock them out, right?
Mm-hmm.
He would come at you. So, but Anthony, that's Anthony's game, right? So I think that game would give him the edge on this matchup. So I'll give it to AP as well.
Yeah.
You know?
Man, I'm almost going against all my teammates and all my friends, all my people that say with my favorite fighters.
Trevor is probably one of the top guys as well.
There.
You know, if you say like a top 10, that guy.
He's one of my favorites, man.
Yeah.
One of the best people I've trained with too. Really cool.
Let's say Trevor goes out. Let's say they fight 3 times and Trevor wins all 3. You wouldn't be surprised.
No.
Right? You just all right. You got to put your nickel down on it. Who do you think's going to get it? I'm saying Anthony Price.
For sure. All right, next one. Oh man, this is a tough one for me because I was like, man, I wouldn't even pick this one. But,
who decided this one?
I don't know. Somebody put that there, and I was like, okay, let's do it. So you decided, Alex. So you go first, I guess. Yeah.
Oh damn! Oh, I wanted you guys to do it. Okay. This is okay. Well, let's just talk about what we know. Okay.
Yeah.
They're both. They're both champions. Yeah, they're both like fighters of the year that they would have in their respective times. I don't know, man. I don't really see Avery giving up much, but let's just say he's not his dad. All right. Let's just say because we got it because it's not fair. All right.
Right.
It's not fair. It's like you're gonna fight your dad. All right.
Yeah.
You know, and he's a junior. You know what I mean? So it's like, oh man. So let's say he's not his dad. He's just an old school fighter. Now you guys are together. You guys are fighting both primes. I'm gonna say for the first couple rounds, I think Richard gets it, and then I think Avery figures it out and never loses again. But if I got one fight, I'm going Richard Platten.
All right. Okay. Well, with me, just being that my dad is my teacher and the one that taught me everything, man, I remember being like on the NASCAR circuit and like, you know, my rookie year, I remember like being one of the top super lightweights. But when I fought my dad, he was older I don't know if it was a mental thing. I could never beat him, no
Hmm.
matter what. So I think because he knew me more better than anybody, so just with that, like, and that's with my dad being older. Imagine him being younger. I would say I'll give the edge to my dad, and for that reason, I'll give it to dad as
Mm.
well, Richard,
Dang.
in their primes.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that's a tough one because I mean, I kind of agree, but I also see Avery's
His game's gotten
like, yeah, his repertoire. Like he has more tools. I feel like in a lot of ways,
he
Yeah,
and
does. His
yeah, and he's been able to adapt to a lot of different fight. Which I mean, Richard was too. Richard's one of the smartest fighters probably ever. Smartest minds in sport karate, in a lot of different ways. So, but I feel like just the repertoire and the so Avery's trained under someone that smart, right? So he's gonna use that with all the extra. So I'm gonna give it to Avery. So
I,
yeah.
I
Hey,
take.
yeah,
another thing about that is when I think about it, like personally, then I think about the flip side. Like my student Victor Suarez, right? He would always whoop my butt. So my goal was to make him better than I was. So a lot of us as instructors want our students to be better, right,
yeah,
than us.
yeah,
So you
yeah,
never know. So
yeah.
you never know. On the flip side, that could be,
It's true,
where,
and I
yeah,
think Richard has done that. I mean, he's done it twice.
yeah, man, for sure. Oh man, there's a big one here. Now,
This is gonna be
I'm
fun.
not gonna vote
Let's
on this one
fight.
because I got my teammate here, and who I'm gonna pick for because I'm biased either way, no matter what. But well, who do you guys pick here? These guys' styles are very similar. They come at you. Well, not really similar, but just I would say their style is not similar, but when they're in
Attitude
the
is,
ring, they people are kind of intimidated of them in
yeah,
that sense.
yeah,
They don't want to get hit by both of these guys, right? So
right,
it's this is what
right.
makes this one a tough one for me.
Yeah, I would say their attitudes are very similar instead of their styles are similar. You
Yeah,
know,
Pick would probably be like 1998 ish Brian.
yeah.
That I think that Brian was probably the most explosive.
I mean, even his first year from '95 to that '98 was the most explosive, and some people still to this day say like that was still the best blitz. Now I don't think so, but you have some people that be like that was just the best because not only was it fast, but it was hard, and so there was a lot of people that hit you fast, but not as hard as him. You know what I mean? Um, and but he was also an all-around athlete. Like he could do forms, he could do weapons, he could flip, he could do everything. But you know what? Cam can too. Cam can do a lot of cool stuff. And again, Cam's all right. So right now we're just seeing the beginning of Cam being his best. All right.
Mhm.
It's kind of surprising to think how long Cam's been in it. Um,
Yeah.
but from his first year as an adult, which I mean he was really young, but to before 2 years ago or last year or whatever, it was kind of like this, right? Some highs and lows.
Yeah,
Um, Brian, when he started, I mean, I don't remember any junior for a long time until maybe like Jack and Willie and Nathan, when people were really pumped up for them to turn to adults, or maybe Ross, as Brian Ruth. People were just like, there were people
true.
that were scared of him being in their division. Like they were not ready because he was just whooping everybody as a junior, and he was grown. You know what I mean? It wasn't like, and it was nuts. And I mean,
That's true.
he was one of the most dominant rookies there was. And
Man, let me tell you this real quick. I fought Brian Ruth was in my division,
yeah, I
15 to
remember that
17, and I
'94.
fought him a few times. And the next year, he moved up 1 year before me.
Yep.
I think Battle of Atlanta, he knocked out like Brent Beatty, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, and he was an instant impact. And I remember being motivated by that because I was like, okay, I kind of gave him a good fight and he just came out and exploded. So it gave me confidence moving up to adults the following year because he was like, there, like you said, there hasn't been back then someone that just went into adults and just exploded. The only person I could think of that did something like that was probably after him, like Preston, right?
Right.
But
Yeah. Yeah.
Brian, yeah,
Yeah. But before that, yeah, I mean, it was more of a veteran sport. Like again, like I talk about all the time, people forget how bluegrass, the gold watch was the senior. Like the senior won the overall every time and beat the 18s all the time, and it was like that in the sport. Anthony was winning, Ka, all those guys were, the ones, and until this guy came in, I mean, everyone was ready for it. He was just a beast. And I still, we talked about him actually Wednesday night or Thursday, whatever, whenever you listen to the show, about how not enough people still talk about Brian Roof, like they should, or give him the credit.
yeah.
Because you know what? Good and bad. Battle of Atlanta pumped up Brian Roof so much, but they also had him up there to where you saw him winning a lot and losing a lot. You saw him losing to Brian Plimple on stage in a high level thing. You saw him losing to Raymond. So people think of him as just in that light of losing all the time. And I think Brian would win this because of consistency overall. But I mean, we just hadn't even seen the best of Cam yet. I don't think so.
True.
I think 2 or 3 more years, we may be saying, this could be one of the best runs of a fighter.
Yeah. How about you, Alex?
I'm gonna go with Cam, and I think Cam actually is explosive and as versatile as Brian was in his prime. I actually think Cam's more versatile. Cam is super explosive. Okay, let's just here's a great example. Okay, we watched him knock that kid. Who did he knock out at the Diamonds? Who was that?
USA top 10.
That's what I'm
Yeah.
thinking.
Okay, yeah.
Was it Henry Lamb?
I don't remember who it was, but he
Yeah.
was pretty tough. That kid was impressive because he kept going.
Well,
I
let's
think-
look at
Yeah.
Yeah.
let's look at because I'll remember vividly what that was. Came in, slide double, and it took a second and a half to do the whole thing. He came in slide double, back fist, reverse punch. From the reverse punch, pulled back, and then did a spin. And knocked before the kid, because the kid went kick on the guard, and then went pop. He got both back fist and the reverse punch. Before he could realize what was happening with the reverse punch, all right, guys, guard comes down here. The spin kick, he pulls the punch back, spin kick comes all the way back around. How do you have time for that?
Right.
That's why I'm saying I think Cam's actually more versatile. I think they're both going to exchange shots. I think there's going to be protests and possible or certain.
Yeah.
Hey, but
Back
the
down.
thing is with Brian is that there was a time that he came out, he was super motivated, and then there was a time that kind of like he was just like whatever. Like when he left Paul Mitchell, he was I think one of the first fighters ever to leave Paul Mitchell, right?
Yeah.
And to fight for a school team. I think that's when he was just kind of like whatever, winging it. But
Still after that, he would.
yeah, he still won.
He did have a certain amount of fu to him, where he would
Yeah.
just say, "Remember, I'm gonna do whatever the heck I want to do."
Right.
And you'd watch him, like Jeff was saying, you'd watch him. All right, get to the final of Battle of Atlanta and then lose, and then the next tournament, maybe he'd win the whole dang thing.
Yeah.
Matched up against Cam, I don't think that happens.
Hey, they both kind of have like this thing, this aura about him, this energy that when he's there, everybody's kind of like, like I don't want to fight this guy. He's gonna hit me hard, kind of thing, So
Yeah.
it'll be an exciting fight. This one,
I think
Imagine them
the
just-
difference is with Cam, people are worried about getting knocked out. I think with Brian, people are just worried about getting injured because he don't care. He'll sweep you. He'll do whatever. Conroy and I talked about the day about how Brian was on Elite for like one tournament, and the reason why because him and Damon didn't get along, and he tried to hurt Damon while they're on the same team. He's like, all right, he didn't care. So
Brian would look at you and just smirk like, huh. But you know what? The one thing about Cam is this guy's like 240.
Yeah.
You know, he took off his uniform one time in front of me with the Under Armour shirt, and he looked like he shredded. He looked like a linebacker, and he kicks like a lightweight.
Yeah.
So this guy is like,
It's
you
insane.
know, he's just like an animal right here. Like that, you don't see that a guy so big that could kick and move so fast. Like he's
Almost,
just
you know, when you play a video game and you would like create a player,
Yeah.
and of course they got 99 speed, and they got 99 strength. That is like how does Cam like become that?
It's true.
yeah, man, yeah, for sure. That's a tough one right there. All right, so the next one is oh man, Enrique Letona versus Pedro. Now, you know, Enrique's really young still, but he's done a lot, and they both are great kickers. But for me, I'm just gonna go with Pedro just from the beginning. He's my idol. He's one of
Yep.
the reasons why I wanted to be in this sport. So I just give it to him. Who do you guys give it to?
I give it to Pedro. Yeah. We haven't seen the best of Enrique yet. I really like the way he kicks. I really like the way he fights. And I think he's going to keep evolving into some type of new style that we haven't seen. Like whatever the new thing's going to be, he may be the one that leads that, you know? And again, some people keep saying, I don't believe that everyone has stopped kicking now. I see a lot of kickers right now, so just want to say that.
Mhm.
I think kicking has been on its way back and is. So everyone that wants to keep putting that out there, I don't think that's true. I think there's a lot of good kickers right now. But besides like Ibby and Jason Borelli, I don't see anyone better than Pedro, you know, like as far as that. And just Pedro, like, was always just his shape. Like, maybe one of the most in shape fighters
Yeah.
I've seen, and just his gas tank. He could just fight, you know. And then he would go and do forms too. People forget about that too. So I got to give
Yeah,
that.
man.
Well, so I think we all agree Enrique's not done improving. All right.
No.
Yeah.
So gonna get better, and I agree with you. I like the way he kicks. I like how he'll kick, step back, set it up. He's very conscious of his distance while he's kicking and the position he puts himself in. So he doesn't typically put himself in a position where he's going to put himself in. He strategizes that. However, I feel like if Enrique got 30% better, I still think Pedro wins. That's not a knock on Enrique.
No.
Enrique might win overalls. But man, you ain't fight Pedro.
Yeah.
Pedro did everything, both sides.
Yeah.
Kicks, people wouldn't even think to practice
Right.
or with them. And then
Yeah, man. I
thought-
think this one wasn't fair for Enrique, but
No.
you know what? But it shows how good he is because this made it to one of the fantasy matchups, and his kicks are kind of like different because he kind of does almost like a tank. He's almost like a tank where he has great balance.
Yeah,
And
he
you
does.
don't
He
see
does.
that nowadays, you know. But he's still evolving, and you never know. Let's see how his career keeps going.
Well, so like I know, well he doesn't have a signature kick yet, like
Yeah.
Dak's kick. And actually, Enrique's best kick is his side kick to the body, but it's not defensive, offensively.
Yeah, man. He's beaten some people that are like, wow. I'm like, wow. He beat this guy by a lot. So it's like it's
Yeah.
crazy, you know. But you still see him kind of like a kid. So maybe that's what it is, you know.
He is.
Yeah, he is a kid, right? He is a kid. So he could be really explosive, but Pedro is like considered. He could be considered one of the greatest, like against Raymond. You know, we could have done a fantasy against him.
Done that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could say who
Might
would
have
win. Who would win that one? Who would you say will win that one?
I think Pedro would make it closer, but I still it's not fair because I don't think it doesn't matter what the matchup is. If you have Raymond in it, I think it's just Raymond.
Man.
I would say Pedro would find a way to pull it off. Pull it out. Now, did he have some hard times against? See, the last time I saw Pedro fight was against Jody. So at that time, that was a similar kind of style of what Raymond had. So I still like that's the last thing I remember seeing of Pedro, but that wasn't like what I always saw. I always saw Pedro just whooping everybody, and no matter how big, you know, because the year before that at Diamonds. 97, he beat AP, and that is a big guy. So I don't think that. I just think that he would be able to pull it off once, but I think overall Raymond would have the better record. So
Let's talk about
Man,
that. Jody wasn't the same type of fighter then. So that was the 98 Diamonds final, all right?
mhm.
Jody, if you go back, watch the tape. Jody
yeah,
gave
he
that
kicked.
a lead leg kick and a lot.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
the crazy, and Jody got up a huge amount. But Pedro was coming back. Like
yeah,
10, 11, 12 seconds of that match, Pedro was he was scoring. He was just down so much that I think he might have lost it by like 2 points. But he had a run to come back.
yeah.
But Jody had that much more. He was not the same type of fighter though.
Right. You're right.
man, for me, Pedro, he had the best D side, one of the best D sides ever, you know, and man, I don't know. I think he would put it. I don't know. The thing is that with Raymond is the longevity, but I would say Pedro versus Raymond. I don't know. I would go with my idol. I would go for Pedro. Like I think that he was ahead of his time too. He kind of had hands, kicks, fakes. He had everything. You know.
Yeah. I mean, I think so. Some of the people that have fought Raymond the best were like Jason Tankson, right? And Jason Tanks had an amazing leg, and so did Pedro. But I
Yeah.
think Pedro had a faster D side,
hmm
and so yeah, but man, they those two, that would be a fun one to watch. Is Pedro and Jason? That would
Man. Yeah.
God.
Hey, I actually saw them fight. They did fight. You know that?
That's one I could
I
remember.
saw them fight,
Where at?
but Tankson, Jason
Was he like
was
17
young.
or something?
He was on that
Nine?
was it
It was probably Kanai.
yeah, Kanai. Yeah, and Jason before he fought Pedro, he kind of like held his leg up like the Statue of Liberty kick
Yeah.
and boom, and that's when I first saw him. I think it was
Was it Bluegrass?
it was US Open, I think. I think it was US Open.
98.
And I would say it was maybe, man, I can't say the year, like 97, 98.
It was probably 98. Yeah.
Yeah, 98. And then Pedro fought him and he did that switch kick on him and everything. But, but Jason was just like, he was a kid. So,
Yeah.
but I did see them live fighting. But, you can't compare, you can't compare them there.
Well, let's do that
No.
one. Let's do that. Pedro Prime. What do you say?
That's a good one. Pedro versus
Jason Burrow?
Jason.
Jason.
How about you, Jeff? You're good? You want to go with that one first?
All right, I'll go with Jason. Yeah.
I say
I have a hard time going against Jason on that one.
Jason.
They're very similar, but yeah.
Jason's the greatest lead leg kicker ever. All right? He is.
All right.
Jason Burrow is the greatest lead leg kicker to walk the earth.
I would actually put Nikki on there, but that's me.
Yeah.
While she was great, she couldn't do everything that Jason could.
No, I understand.
So that means she's not as good. I don't know what to tell you. That's not
No,
enough.
no. It doesn't mean that. It means who wins with what they have. You look at just skills. I look at mental and who wins. That's what.
Okay.
So
Alex, you see what I deal with? Okay, Jason.
Man.
he thinks everybody is a robot. No, it's about here. That's how
So-
you win your mental.
So, Jeff, you got Jason. Alex, who do you have?
Jason, look at
Jason.
we argued, yet we both agree.
Hey,
That's
for
awesome.
me, they both have the most balanced kicks ever. For me,
yeah.
they could do whatever they want with their legs, like an arm, right? Like you do with your arm, they could do with their legs. But for
Almost
me, Pedro had more crisp, more speed to it, I think. So I would give it to Pedro in their primes. But
Pedro didn't lean back as much as Jason did with his kicks. I don't think. It just, you know what I mean? And I think that little bit of extra spacing could make a difference. So you might be right. But still,
you'll go
Jason's
with Jason. Yeah.
Jason's going to hit you with some crazy stuff you don't expect. I don't know.
Hey,
I
that
just
would
know
be
this
great.
is crazy. Oh
Yeah,
my
that would have
God.
been a great one.
Yeah.
How about this? if Jason came out in like an interview and said, "Oh yeah, I just wanted to kick exactly like Pedro," we might go, "Yeah, kind of looks like it." All
Yeah.
right. We might. I've never heard him say that. All right. But if he were to say that, you might look at that and go, "Yeah, that makes sense." You know what I mean?
For sure. Hey, one person we didn't talk about was Mafia. He had everything too. Maybe on the
Yes.
next one, maybe we could do another show to
Oh,
follow this up and just have some more matchups maybe in a few weeks because this is great. These fantasy matchups.
Did we run
Thanks
through
to
all of them?
everybody
Yeah.
for tuning in. Hey, when do you guys have your next show on your network on your
It'll, yeah.
Wednesday night. It comes out every Thursday morning. Every Thursday morning,
8 a.m.
8 a.m. Eastern, it's on.
Hey, the cool thing about you guys is that you could everybody could watch on a bunch of different platforms, right? You guys
Right.
are on
Yeah.
like YouTube, podcast, Facebook,
Yep.
Spotify. I
Right.
think iHeart, right? Everything.
Yep.
Pretty
Yep.
much.
All that. Yeah.
I just subscribe to it on my Apple. So what I do is I just pull it up right here. All right. This right. Go ahead. This is how you do it, guys. You subscribe right there.
Boom.
All right.
And then give us a 5 stars and write
Give
a
us a
review.
rating.
Give us
What's
a
up?
rating.
Hey, and shout out to Travis because this guy
He's killing it, man.
he's getting all you guys to do this and like he's putting a lot of effort and passion into it. And
Yeah.
you know, I really appreciate him and you know what he's doing. And I hope you guys, you know, everybody that's watching, make sure you tune in. And I hope that, you know, what you know, you guys are laying down the tracks for like big sponsorships and all that just to fund the show and just make it big
Yeah.
because you guys deserve it. You guys are doing a great job. All right.
Thank you, man. Thank
Yeah,
you.
for sure. Hey guys, thanks for joining us and thanks for tuning in. We're gonna have another show soon and stay safe out there. All right.
Yeah.
Power, baby.
See you guys. Power.
Yes, sir.